What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my next video. Today I'm going to be reviewing chapter 1030 of One Piece, and this one's a bit of a doozy, right? There are two main different plot points, but we really just get a glimpse of everything, right? There's the Apoo versus Drake, there's Law and Kid versus Big Mom, there's Sanji versus Queen, Zoro versus King, Luffy versus Kaido, Yamato, Momonosuke. We see the Flower Capital. We see what else? Oh yeah, Kinemon, Kiku, the Scabbards, Kanjuro. Who's that? Kanjuro, Orochi. Like, we really get to see everyone. And that's funny because there are really only so many more plot points left to wrap up in the raid. And for my prediction last video, I said my prediction was that we would see Raizo versus Fukurokuju. And that is literally the one fight, like one of the only fights that they did not show in this chapter. It's like, okay, come on. But yeah, two main plot points. Obviously there's Kinemon and all his stuff, and then there is also Law and Kid versus Big Mom. I don't really know which one's really the highlight to me, but I think I have more to say about Law and Kid versus Big Mom, so I'm gonna save that for the end. But actually, to start off with, we don't see either of those. We see Kid. Whoa, no. We see DX Drake versus Apoo. And basically, Apoo's like, I don't really care who wins or not, but the person who does win is gonna be like very injured, so let's try to take them down, right? And it's like, okay, I guess that's fair enough, but how is he supposed to know that, like, Kaido... I feel like everyone still believes that... Everyone who hasn't seen Luffy versus Kaido would think that Kaido, like, one-shots Luffy, or, like, Kaido will, like, have an overwhelming victory. So I feel like Apoo's hypothesis that the winner is going to be beat up, Kaido could just still easily beat Luffy. I mean, obviously we know that Luffy obviously is going to be Kaido, but even if he didn't, Kaido will still have taken some damage. But, like, I feel like for Apoo to be that certain about it is a bit weird. But yeah, we see him and the numbers. Actually, I have to make a confession. Back when the numbers were first introduced into the series, look, apparently the whole thing about the Kaido's crew being like a deck of cards, apparently that didn't make me realize that, yes, the numbers. I thought it was like the numbers, like they'll make you numb because, like, they'll kill you or something. I don't know. It was really weird. I don't know why I didn't just read as the numbers, but yeah, I just had to get that off my chest. But yeah, so far they've been very unimpressive. I don't really expect more of them. I don't really expect more of Apoo either. Sorry, I don't really expect more of Apoo either, because, like, I feel like Drake isn't gonna, he's not taking any of this. He's gonna beat him. I don't expect much more out of that. I doubt that once Luffy wins, Apoo's gonna show up and be like, haha, I've come for your life, and then try to, like, kill Luffy. I doubt that, but who knows, maybe. But yeah, the next thing in the chapter, it is Nami and Usopp and Topma and all the animals, and we see Kinemon running across the floor, and it's not just Kinemon. It's Kinemon's lower half from Punk Hazard, and as he was in that arc before he got reattached, he is talking through his butt, like, literally. He is talking out of his farts. And let's just say, okay, a lot of people are mad about this. A lot of people are like, oh, come on, Kinemon and Kiku and Kanjuro, they're all alive. Just, like, why can't Oda kill anyone? It's like, I think we're way past that, okay? We're well past Oda not being able to kill off characters, right? And I feel like I think one or two of the Skywards may die, but I feel like that they're gonna save that for, like, the very ending of the raid. But who knows? I don't know. Like, it depends on the ending Oda's going for. Because if he wants the ending to be everyone being happy, yeah, no worries in the world, like Alabasta kind of ended, then yeah, they're not going to kill off any major characters. But if he does want to add that sort of, like, tone where it's, like, a little darker, a little sadder, it's like, oh, we won, but, like, taking down one of the Emperors of the Sea, we weren't able to get out of that unscathed. someone did die. Kinemon died, or Kiku died, or someone was a casualty. And I think that if Oda did do that, that would be cool, you know, just to show the cost of taking down an emperor or taking down two emperors. But I still don't think he will. But regardless of that, I still love Kinemon. I used to hate him back in Punk Hazard and even Dressrosa. I didn't really like him at all. I'm not a fan of the perfect characters, but for some reason they always just come around on me. Like even Brook, I hated Brook at the beginning, but eventually he became one of my favorite Straw Hats. Like how? How does this happen? But yeah, Kinemon too. Kinemon, he's just great. I love him, especially just. I think it really is just Wano and the flashbacks and Kinemon's like resolve, and also the whole hilarious incident of like Tokage port and like the other port, and Kinemon being just like some accidental genius. It's amazing. But I won't lie, I was very excited and kind of relieved when I saw that Kinemon was alive. I always lean towards him being alive because I'm like, again, in One Piece it's always better to assume that they are and that they aren't dead, unless it's in a flashback. And well, here we go, he is alive. So it's like, we got that. It's also cool to see all the other characters' reactions to him being alive. But anyways, the reason that Kinemon's running around is because he wants to save Kiku, but more importantly, the reason that he's actually able to revert to this Punk Hazard severed in half but still alive state is that when Kaido cut him in half, it broke his body like when Law did it, which I don't really like that much, because like the way the logic's supposed to work, it just doesn't really add up to me. So the direct lines from the fan translation, right? This is a fan translation. I am eager to find out what the Viz translation is going to translate this to, but it says, I suppose Law Dono did not completely reattach my body before. This implies that Law was the one who put Kinemon's body back together, which would mean that I don't know. I just feel like if Law did it, then he would just be reverting the effects. He should be fine. But this is something I heard from like an online post from someone who supposedly knows Japanese. So they could just be lying. Like they could just be spreading misinformation. Like I wouldn't know, but they say that in the actual original, they say Kinemon says something along the lines of, I suppose my body that was cut by Law Dono hasn't been fully attached, which doesn't say who attached his body. So if it was another character like Sanji or like Zoro or like just someone else who reattached Kinemon's body, then it would have made more sense for it to not be fully together. Right? 'Cause I do think that makes sense. Like a lot of people are like, if it wasn't Law, then how would he be put back together? But I feel like Law's fruit isn't that overpowered to where, like Nami in Punk Hazard, she was able to put Kinemon's face back together. So maybe if Kaido like starts slashing at his face, Kinemon's face could fall apart into pieces again. Who knows? But I still am not a big fan of it, because like when Kaido, it's the same thing with Orochi beheading, because you know that's like the only way for him to live fatal attack, because you know he has all the different heads. Well, at least that's like the main thing. I don't think they actually confirmed that's why he's alive, but I feel like it's pretty obvious at this point. But yeah, for Kinemon, the only way for him to live that was for him to like get chopped up. Like, and I'm like thinking, like if he was chopped up in a different spot, then like how would that work? Wouldn't it have to be in the exact same spot that Law cut him for him to actually be like cut evenly in half? But I guess that's also supposed to go with like the thing of fate, because you know I guess he was like destined, you know, like fate held the odds, and as long as it was possible it happened, because you know him being alive is essential for the raid or something. I just hope he does something though. Like now he's alive, I do want him to do something. And if the arc ends with his actual death as like a samurai who stood up against Kaido and actually did something of importance, maybe he's one of the deciding factors in the raid, I'd be happy. Even if he dies, especially if he dies at the end, I would be happy. But on another note, in the same scene, Kanjuro is also revealed to be alive, and obviously Kiku too, because you know Kinemon's like telling them to help her, or help her, and Kanjuro gets a message from, or not a message, it's like signal something for Orochi, who's like, yo, you're dead, but you know, our ancestors, they're not satisfied with this. We need to hit the nail in the coffin. We need to depict the burning wrath of the Kurozumi clan, enact our revenge. It doesn't matter if like we're against Kaido, if we're with Kaido, the Kozuki clan, or sorry, if like the Straw Hats, the pirates, like we need to get the revenge, the vengeance of the Kurozumi clan, right? We need to avenge them. We're just gonna burn everything down, cast all the stragglers into the abyss of hell, free their souls in a final blaze of glory. And this is when he creates something out of his drawing called Kazenbo, I think. And it's basically just touching it is gonna burn you. This thing's gonna like set fire to the entire to the entirety of Onigashima, and I don't actually know what's gonna come of this. I honestly, I don't know. But one thing that I did think when I first saw it was like, this looks an awful lot like Smiley, right? Or like, that was his name, right? Smiley from Punk Hazard. Smiley, One Piece. Yeah, Suraimu or Suraimu. Yeah, like Smiley from Punk Hazard. Maybe there's a connection between them. Maybe like I get that Virgo was and all of them were part, like Caesar was part of, worked for Doflamingo, who worked for Kaido, so maybe like Caesar knew something about it that like Kanjuro also knows, but Kanjuro works for Orochi, not Kaido, so I guess they're not really connected. Maybe it's just a coincidence, maybe they don't even look that much alike and I'm just misremembering, who knows. But an interesting thing that I noticed that might mean something, might not, but while they're showing like what Kazenbo's doing, they pan out to Onigashima and show that like it's kind of like on fire, and there we see Momonosuke, and it goes to Momonosuke and shows him like trying to like push back. I don't think this is related to the fire though, it's just related to Momonosuke trying to prevent Onigashima from reaching the flower capital. But it's like that, and then it goes back to the monster, the Kazenbo. So maybe there can, I think maybe Momonosuke might be the one to put out Kazenbo to get rid of it, because I feel like maybe they're just like showing what's happening on the outside, just showing Momonosuke, or maybe they're like kind of hinting that Momonosuke is like gonna be the one who will eventually defeat Kazenbo. I don't know. I don't know if I don't know. But yeah, we see everything. Like it's something I didn't even say before. There's Robin and Brook. There's CP0. There's Marco, Izo, Kawamatsu, Sanji versus Queen, Luffy versus Kaido, Zoro versus King. And speaking of that, King's mask is still on, but there's just the part missing. So we know that after the events of chapter 1027, I think, that King's mask will still remain, and that as they'll still continue to fight without him being unmasked. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait a bit more. But another interesting thing that I saw is that Orochi thinks he's gonna live this. This isn't like Kanjuro is fully prepared to take his own life, but Orochi, he's not going into this plan with the prospect that he's gonna be alive, because he says, "Now hurry back, Fukurokuju, so we can escape." It's like, how are you so confident that you're gonna be able to escape? Like, I feel like it's just gonna be befitting of him for him to be like, "Okay, yep, this is my master plan. You know, we're gonna escape soon, and then boom, you know, I'll have defeated Kaido, whoever. You know, I'll have blown up all the armors, like the weapons and stuff. Onigashima will explode, and I will be alive." But then he's like, things happen, and then Orochi realizes, I'm not gonna be able to escape, and I'm waiting to see when that moment happens. But of course, Yamato is going, racing through Onigashima, trying to get to the bottom. I don't even think she's aware of the Kazenbo, but she's just trying to get it so if Onigashima does eventually fall, then it won't explode. Which actually does bring me to a point that I said in the chapter that this plot point was released, in that review. I said I think Onigashima was going to fall, because if Yamato is going to be preparing for a worst case scenario, then that worst case scenario has to happen. Just like in terms of storytelling, they shouldn't make a character do something that's ultimately useless. And Oda actually, like with Kazenbo, that makes it so even if Onigashima doesn't fall, this won't be useless, because Kazenbo is trying to, like Orochi and Kanjuro's plan, they're now trying to blow up the weapons. So I guess Momo holding Onigashima falling and Momo holding it up, that theory has been pushed a little back, but I still think it's gonna happen. But this chapter review has actually been really long. Oh my god, I just noticed. And we still haven't gone to like the main part. So Law and Kid versus Big Mom. Big Mom is just having an overwhelming victory, and Law and Kid are like, you know what? I think like, hey, can you awaken? Yeah, I can too. So let's just do that, you know, like. But one thing I do wonder is that if Law says he's not used to it, and Wano, like in terms of time, has like taken over a pretty decent amount of time. So I wonder, how long has Law had his Devil Fruit awakened? Like, has he been training off screen? I'd imagine it's during the Wano arc that he actually awakened it. But who knows, maybe even during Dressrosa he'd have it awakened. And I doubt it, because even if it did zap all his energy, I feel like he'd want to, like, just because he hates Doflamingo that much, he'd be willing to. But I don't know. That's actually a hard one to think about. But Kid, I guess I have even less idea. But let's look at both of their awakened abilities. Law is Kroom. That's, instead of room, it's Kroom. I don't know if it's going to be the same in the Viz translation, but I'm not sure what the significance of the extra K is. Maybe in the Japanese, like Korum, not like Kroom. So anyways, he goes Anesthesia, Shockwave, I think that's the name of that. It's like he goes Anesthesia, he stabs her, and then he like says some lines, and then says Shockwaves. I don't know if it's like that's two separate attack names or like one attack name. I just kind of paused in between of saying it. But yeah, the piercing it went through Big Mom's body, which I'm really surprised about. But it ultimately did not do any damage to her. So I guess that balances out. Just weird for it to pierce. So maybe it's like a sword that's like meant to be able to pierce, but like without actually focusing on damage. I don't know. But of course it does electrocute her. There's like smoke coming out of her mouth. She's bleeding. And then Kid comes, and I actually really like his Awakened Devil Fruit ability. Kid is not a character that I've ever really been too ecstatic about, him and Killer. But like last chapter, or like was it last chapter? Yeah, last chapter I really liked Killer. Now I do like Kid, but not because of his character. I just really like his ability. I'm really fascinated with magnet abilities for some reason. I just think they're pretty cool, not used enough. And like, I guess like he's always had that ability where he can like track metals, but just having it be used on another character, I think is really cool. So we get Big Mom becomes like magnetic. Everything gets thrown out of her, and Law of course uses his power to get them out of harm's way. And Big Mom, she looks like genuinely surprised, like she's like you know. But now here's the real question: will this have defeated Big Mom? And my answer to this is no. Hopefully, because if it does, which I don't think it will, right? Because this is an Emperor of the Sea we're talking about. Oda is not pulling any he's not pulling any strings with no, that's not the right word. He's not pulling any stops or pulling any punches with Kaido. Like Kaido has been shown to be really strong, and Big Mom has been shown to be as strong as Kaido. So I do not, in this like 2-on-1 fight against Big Mom, I do not think that this will take her out. But if it does, I'd be so disappointed, dude. After all Kaido's been hyped up to be, and just having everything thrown at you, like, this is a strong attack. Like, this is an extremely strong attack. But I still don't think it's enough to basically one-shot an Emperor of the Sea. Like, I love this whole combination of moves, you know? Using both their powers to the fullest. But I'd be really disappointed if this killed Big Mom. Not even killed. If this was enough to, like, get her unconscious, I would be really disappointed. But anyway, that brings us to the end of the chapter. That's all my thoughts on it. In the recording, it says I've been recording for around 22 minutes. Hopefully, I'll probably trim some of that down. But my chapter review has been like 12 minutes, like 10-12 minutes so far. So I guess, to be fair, there was a lot happening during this chapter. A lot of reveals. Well, not a lot of reveals, just a lot of different things to note about. But let's get in with our prediction for next week. Next week, I think, let's see. I think we are going to get a glimpse of, I'm thinking about this one. I think we're gonna get a glimpse of, I'll play it semi-safe. I'll do Kinemon and Usopp and them trying to find Kiku. Okay, so that's what I'm going for. Just at least just a little bit, because we did not even see Fukurokuju. He got name dropped once, but we did not even see him or Raizo. Which, like, why are they trying to hide this from us? Like, they showed stuff from every other fight, right? Like, they even showed like Kawamatsu, Izo, Marco. Like, is Oda hiding something? Like, what is up with Raizo versus Fukurokuju that he's not shown it? It's really become a meme in the One Piece community that there's like something big happening there. Like, I doubt it, but like, why? You know? But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Also, sorry for not having a upload in between the chapter reviews. I don't want my channel to just become chapter reviews, which is hard because I want to do these videos once a week, because that's most of the time when chapters come out. But I wanted to have one upload like Tuesday, and I actually recorded it. It just, the editing didn't match up, and when I finally edited it, it was like too late. So, you know. But yeah, that video that I was gonna upload is I'm not gonna say it. It's actually not that big of a deal. I'll just say it's a Honey and Clover review. I watched the anime and I really liked it, so I made a video reviewing it. Kind of similar to my Neon Genesis Evangelion video, but not really, because I actually have like certain points I go through. But yeah, that video will get uploaded probably like Tuesday. Or like Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.